This is Nick HeadHunter Chapman. Considered one of the UK's premier mixed martial arts athletes and undefeated in his MMA career. In 8 weeks' time, Nick will square off against a very tough and experienced MMA fighter with one goal: to become the UK1MMA Light Heavyweight Champion. This is Nick HeadHunter Chapman as you've never seen him before, uncensored and uncut. This is his story. I'm nearing the end of the road with my time with the Headhunter, and it's been a somewhat interesting and eye-opening 3 months for me. Even though I do my best not to judge books by their covers, I'm ashamed to admit that I probably did to some extent when I first met Nick. The person that I originally thought was a scary and intimidating individual has turned out to be, well, completely the opposite. It's a shame it's coming to an end. I'm starting to get to know and really like Nick Chapman. Today we're doing something really special. We're going to the world-renowned 76 Harley Street in London. Nick's been inducted into the Elite Athlete Programme, which happens to be a very rare privilege indeed. But just before we go, we need to make a quick visit to Nick's publicist to discuss the meeting.
Obviously there's some things that I want to cover for to go in and see in Harley Street.
Right, so yesterday we met Nick. Have you met Nick?
No, he's the PR guy.
He's a PR guy. I don't think he's just a PR guy though, because he's quite a lot older and he seems to be up on the science as well. So I think he's involved with the company on some way. But it was Nick and Dr. Jack, and they took us around the facilities, and they showed us around, and they were talking about some really amazing stuff.
I had the meeting with them last week. We covered most of the bases that you've mentioned.
Yeah.
But it's great that you've had a chat with them now, because you can.
Yeah. So they're the absolute top medics in the world, and they've got specialists from all different sports, like Usain Bolt's physio, haven't they? Yep. They've got the guys that sit on the Olympic drug regulatory boards. They've got the guy from the ABA, is it the boxing? Yep. One of the top boxing guys as well. Yeah, that's the one.
He's one of my lecturers.
And what they're talking about is basically bringing to the table research and equipment and technology that can legitimise MMA as a sport globally. Yeah, I'm Zara. I am Nick's publicist, and I've been working with Nick for about a year now. Nick approached me at a press conference for Ultimate Challenge, and he said he had a great attitude. He said he wants to go all the way, as a lot of fighters do. But he's been brilliant. I've been with him through his Ultimate Challenge fights. I've seen his business take off. We've done a lot of press together. He's probably one of the most hard-working fighters that I represent. He's a fantastic athlete, but he's also a great ambassador for the sport. Unusually with Nick, even though he hasn't fought some of the big international names yet in his career, he's very America-friendly as well. I've had a lot of interest from Canada, from the States. He's got a huge fan base, and I think his attitude translates really, really well internationally. And I think, obviously being his publicist, hyping him, but it's true, Nick is the complete package. He looks the way a fighter should look. He looks the way people want to see a fighter. They want to see big, they want to see tattoos, they want to see someone that looks mean and tough. But then he opens his mouth and he's fantastically engaging, he's very articulate, and he really contradicts the ideas that fighters are just brutes that get in the cage for a scrap.
So here we are at the world famous Harley Street. I mean, this is kind of a new legacy in the fight science quest for global domination. These guys are the leading scientists all in the the world almost. Professor Greg White and Dr. Jack Kleinbler in sports science. They really like the concept of fight science, the business that I'm creating and developing, and they kind of want to associate with me and train me up and offer so many unbelievable opportunities, which, you know, we're here for today for a meeting, see if we can't exploit and explore and move forward with this project. So here we go, 76 Harley Street.
Not only is Nick on Harley Street's books as an athlete, but there have also been discussions with Harley Street and Nick's organisation Fight Science with a view to linking the two companies and conduct high-level research into MMA, taking the sport to a whole new level in the UK by working together to assess the safety of the sport and prove that it is in fact safe and professional and requires a high level of skill and athleticism. Harley Street's aim in working with Fight Science is to appoint approved assessors into the organisation. They're hoping that this partnership between Fight Science and Harley Street will transform MMA in the UK as we know it.
Hi guys!
Hi mate.
Good to see you, buddy. How you keeping? Good?
Yeah, not too bad mate, not too bad.
Hi mate. Good to see you. Good to see you, mate.
This is Dr. Mike Lewis-Moore.
Hello mate, how you doing?
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
We're having trouble with the computer systems. We did actually download the HeadHunter theme tune for you. We were going to get you, but it just doesn't want to download it, unfortunately. So we thought we'd have you download the old catwalk with your own tune. But
We're obviously going to talk about the science of training and also effectively the sort of at one level the physiology of performance and that sort
Professor Greg White is one of the world's leading Olympic sports scientists. Himself a decorated Olympian and pentathlete, Greg now dedicates his life's work to preparing athletes for optimum performance.
What I'm principally interested in is sort of the physiology of performance. So in other words, what it is that makes up an MMA fighter. Fundamentally, one of the things that we're going to do today is looking at this aerobic capacity. In other words, his ability to use oxygen. We sometimes think of that as being sort of endurance runners, endurance swimmers, but actually for MMA it's incredibly important because it's actually going to dictate the performance in round 2 and round 3. It's that endurability which is crucial. But then a whole host of other areas I'm interested in is anaerobic capacity, how he produces energy anaerobically. That's for the power and strength development. And then there's a whole host of other factors that we're going to be interested in terms of just what characterises that MMA fighter. So what we're doing here, okay, one of the things that I'm interested in is obviously human performance. And it's actually the enhancement of that human performance. And the first place that we start really is actually checking what we've got underneath the bonnet is operating as we expect it to operate.
Coming from your medical background, how do you perceive MMA as a sport?
I mean, it's interesting actually because I think the immediate perception of MMA is very different to when you experience it live and cage side, as it were. Because I think when you see it on telly, you get a very different perspective of it. And I've been around fighting for a long period of time, within boxing and those type of events. But it was an eye opener for me because the one thing I did notice was that these guys are real athletes. This is not a bar brawl. This is not people coming in and thinking, right, Saturday I'm going to have a fight. These guys are true athletes. They're incredibly strong. Their strength endurance is remarkable, but also the skill level that's required. This is not just a brawl. This is actually, it is planned. Much like boxing, much like events like fencing. In some aspects, it's like chess. It's like a physical chess in the sense that what you are trying to do is read the opposition and then actually combat that opposition. And so for me, the MMA fighter really sort of brings in all of those fantastic elements of physicality, both in terms of strength and power, but also endurability, and then adds the skill of these multiple disciplines into what, frankly, what you could only say is probably sort of the ultimate fighter. There is this sort of negative opinion of MMA, but to be honest with you, that negativity resounds around a whole host of different fighting, combative sports. Boxing's no different. There's a vast proportion of the population who think that boxing is, barbaric. But it's not until you get inside it and understand it. I think some of the critical factors here in terms of the credibility of MMA is actually demonstrating, number one, the safety of MMA. The potential for injury, but important, serious injury is relatively low, and that's something that we need to take a look at in comparison to other sports. I think the other factor is to actually demonstrate the athleticism of fighters, is actually to focus on the performance itself. Because it does have that feel to it, because it's in a cage, because it's man on man or woman on woman. It does have that feel of cockfighting. But actually, when you step back from that and look at the at the physicality of the fighter, at the skill of the fighters, then it's no different to any other sport. But it's the perception that matters, and what you need to do is actually change that perception. And I think much of what we're going to do here through the science and method is actually help or assist in changing that public perception of what MMA is. This is the sort of thing, really, for me. This is sort of just the base level. So it's the first thing we do. Yeah. And it just offers a fundamental understanding of basic conditioning, really. And then off the back of that, what we then do is start to characterise the other determinants of performance. And that's, you know, frankly, where MMA isn't at the moment, but I think that's where you want to get to.
Exactly.
Okay, so we'll pop this on. I'm going to pop about 500 volts through it if you're not trying hard enough. Oh no.
If I can get my endurance up,
Excellent. Okay, hold it back for me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's lovely. Okay.
Oh.
Lovely. So what we're doing here is basically every time you breathe out,
Yep.
I take a sample of that air, I compare it with what we've got in ambient air, and that tells me how much oxygen you're consuming, how much carbon dioxide you're producing.
Yeah.
And there's a little turbine in here which tells me how much volume of air you're breathing in and breathing out. Keep it working, very nice indeed, mate, that's very, very nice. So keep going. Keep driving. Push it up. Right. Good man. That's great work. Good man. Keep driving. Great action. Keep driving. Okay. And relax. Great work. Good man, that's nice. Just keep that on for me so you get a little bit of late data. Okay, just spin the legs over for me. Is it interesting?
You did very well, actually. Very well.
You're an anaerobic animal. No doubt about it. Okay. I mean, the interesting thing is that you can see where anaerobic threshold occurred. I won't bore you with why it occurs at this point, but basically it occurs at this point here.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the end of exercise. So actually, what it tells me is actually your anaerobic capacity is actually pretty good.
Really?
But what it is telling me is that you're going anaerobic very early.
That's a problem.
So the problem is that you go into anaerobic, and because that's what you normally do,
Yeah.
there's a lot of psychology that allows you to fight. There's a lot of good physiology.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of psychology that allows you to keep fighting it.
Yeah.
Whereas actually what really we want to do is actually delay that,
Push it out.
allow you to work at a very high rate, but effectively be outside of this anaerobic zone.
Yeah.
So that then you've got the option of going into it, rather than effectively right from the outset going straight into anaerobic and hanging in for dear life.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Jack. Really grateful.
So, by the way, thank you. This is an absolute dream come true. It's beautiful. It's
Great shot.
It's a brilliant shot.
It's my dream come true. Absolutely. It's the sort of thing I'd like to see him get done to him every day.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for the advice. It's really grateful for your time. Cheers.
Any problems? Let me know.
Yeah, thank you so much. Cheers.
I'm just going to say bye to Alexis.
Yes, Dr. Jack. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, thank you.
Well, how's that? Tough. Obviously, you know, there's areas of weakness. Everyone's got strengths and weaknesses. I know exactly where mine are. These guys are the best guys in the world to help me develop my areas. With my strength and my power, if I can get to endure that indefinitely, I fancy my chances against anyone in the world. I think these guys are going to get us there.
It's Saturday evening and Nick's back in training. He's been invited to the Vibram 5 Fingers Testing Centre for a very special strength and conditioning workout.
Alright guys, how we doing? Yeah. Thanks for letting us use the facility tonight, Mike. You're an absolute legend. This is the guy, he contacted us with the Vibram 5 Fingers because I've got dodgy knees. So now we wear these for the running, and I just don't want to take them off. Once you've got them on, I don't want to take them off. But he's kindly allowed us to use this facility tonight for training. It's blinded, it's got all the gear, sled, hammer, tyre.
Do I come through?
Yeah, wicked. Right, this is how we roll.
To push Nick through this gruelling session, he's enlisted the help of one of the world's strongest men.
Right, in my training camps and fights, I always like to try and enlist the best help I can find. So, you know, with my coaches, all my coaches are the best I can get. And, you know, a lot of people comment on my strength as a light heavyweight. I seem to be substantially stronger than a lot of the guys that I fight. Now, there is a reason for that. It's a secret. It's been a secret up till now anyway. And I'm just about to shed some light on how I managed to develop strength. And it comes in the form of this guy here. So those of you that have been living under a rock for the last few years and don't know who this guy is, this is Terry Hollands. He's the strongest man in the UK and 2007 ranked 3rd strongest man in the world. Now, if this guy can't get you strong, no one can. He puts me through, as I say, the fireman's walks and the different kind of training stuff that they do for the strongman training, which transfers over nicely into MMA, especially for the grappling, the shoots, the takedowns. That just strength, power, endurance is great stuff. It hurts, it's horrible, but in terms of benefits, brilliant. Go all the way, come on. kilos, come on. Let's go for it, come on.
Terry, when Nick comes to see you, what kind of things do you work on with him?
Well, it's generally, obviously my area of expertise is all the strongman training, sled drags, tyre flips, farmer's walk, those type of things. And they're really good for endurance and good for strength building. It's a lot more about functional strength rather than just lifting weights in the gym. And yeah, it's something that we sort of work quite hard on and seems to be paying off. I would say that type of training is a lot more transferable than just lifting weights in the gym, just purely because it is picking up weird objects, weird shapes, and obviously just lifting weights in the gym is generally very sort of strict movements, whereas a lot of the strongman type training is more about picking up things from weird angles and stuff like that, which obviously would have more benefit for an MMA fighter because, you know, they're trying to grapple with a guy and move him around. They're not going to be coming at him straight from one angle.
Whew. Yeah. Oh, God, it's hard work. Cheers, Del. You're buying lunch, mate.
It's Monday evening and Nick's just called me to ask if I wouldn't mind coming to Portsmouth with him to visit one of his sponsors. A sponsor that's been with him even before the very beginning of his MMA career. UK martial arts giants, Black Eagle.
These are the guys that took a punt on me at the very beginning of my career. I just literally phoned them up, needing a bit of help, and they took a punt and they sorted me out. So we sort of had a really good relationship ever since. We sort of stick together. I love these guys. I mean, they do really good products. They're also really, really helpful with the sponsorship. You know, when you're starting out as a pro, money's tight, so any help you can get makes a massive difference. But I'll introduce you to Steve. Steve is I think the managing director. And a cool guy. Here he is. Hello, buddy.
Okay,
How you doing?
All right, nice to see you.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah. Just make a habit of
welcome
this.
to our humble abode.
This is Steve, MD of Black Eagle Martial Arts. Let's go and see.
Yeah, that's embroidery, isn't it?
Well, that's for the belts and stuff.
Yeah, belts, uniforms, t-shirts, anything really, anybody wants. That's, we try and keep the martial arts space as much as we can, but this time of year you got big black belt grading, so we do quite a lot of black belts
Oh, right, I see.
for people. But also, you know, we can do jiu-jitsu belts as well in the same way.
Oh, this is nice.
We can put badges on them.
When I get my jiu-jitsu belt, you can embroider it HeadHunter.
Absolutely, mate.
My black belt.
Yeah.
Oh, storage.
Bottom end of the storage, yeah. I'll have to turn a few more lights on as we go around for your camera at a split, but yeah, I mean, this is our stalls area. As you can see, we've got
Doing gum shields.
yeah, we do the Shock
the Shock
Doctor,
Doctors.
Opro.
Audible ones.
Yeah, I
I know
mean,
you sell gum shields.
yeah, we do gum shields. But we're going through a major rebranding at the moment with the BJJ, Nogi, MMA. It's all the same. To us, it's all the same. Appreciate there are subtle differences between the two in many ways, but of course you all cross-train. So the BJJ, MMA and Nogi is going to basically come under the Predator brand. So that's not to say that obviously Black Eagle isn't a name in this, but we've taken a decision, and we've also done a lot of research on this as well, talking to guys actually out there. And we've decided that the time's right for us to come up with a rebrand. The Predator lends itself quite well. That was the very first thing we called it. That was after a video by Mike at the Motion Machine, of course, came and did a little promo to me and said, "What do you think?" And we came up with we needed a strap line for it, so we came up with Unleash the Predator, the eagle being a predator. And since then, people have sort of started latching onto the name Predator. It's one of those sort of names. You come up with it, and you're not quite sure what reaction you're going to get to it. Some people have a different connotation to a predator to, you know, what the normal man in the street would have, like you and I. But all of a sudden, it was like one of those brand names that started to roll and roll and roll, and now people are asking for it. So we've decided to go for a rebranding. But it's liken it to the Snickers bar when it was a marathon. You know, the Americans are starting to really latch on to the Predator. The Europeans are. So we kind of figure maybe now is the time to rebrand it, and that's exactly what we're going to do over the summer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Launch the Predator. Yeah.
That's how we roll. I can do it all, me. I used to watch Bruce Lee when I was a kid.
Yeah, didn't we all, mate?
I used to knock myself out with these.
Why you make yourself look at it on?
It's not the first time I made myself look a tit on camera, Steve.
So tell the camera what you just told me.
I reckon I should wear this every time I train because it would protect me from getting cauliflower ears. But then again, I like my collies. Thinking of this, I mean, I like the brand.
Yeah.
They look cool. I mean, this feels awesome.
Try this one on,
I've had
mate, because
lots of different gigs.
there are
This
subtle
one's-
differences between the.
What made you decide to sponsor Nick?
I think it must be about 4 years ago. A guy called Nick Chapman on the email. Can you phone me? It's urgent. I know you're going on holiday, but I really need to talk to you. And I knew the name, couldn't quite work out where from, but I think he bought some odd bits from us in the past. So I phoned him up, and he knew I was literally trying to get to the airport, go on holiday, and enjoy a couple of weeks break in that. And he just gave me this pitch about what he was doing, where he was coming from, where he wanted to go. And he just asked for a bit of free gear, and I thought, oh, well, yeah, go on and have some free gear. So I emailed the office, literally taxi's almost pulling up outside, and I just said to the guys, can you just send this guy some gear? Here's his phone number, give him a ring, he'll give you his address. And I heard not a lot more after that, and I thought, fair enough, you know, we tried and we out to him. The next thing, I did get another phone call from Nick, couldn't thank me enough, and said, I want to support you a bit more. And I'm thinking, you want to support me? What do you mean you want to support me? I'll just give you a load of free gear, a fight I don't even know anything about. He goes, no. He says, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm going to make the UFC one day. And I said to him, okay then. Well, what do you want from me? I said, I can't do much for you at the moment, Nick, because I don't know you that well. We need to sort of talk a bit more. And we basically started feeding him some free equipment. And then through Andy, I suddenly became really aware of what Nick was all about. So it's one of those sort of sponsorship things that I sort of kind of felt sorry for him on the phone that he needed some stuff because he had this fight and he was desperate for it. I was going on holiday, so I needed to get the guy off my back to a certain extent. We just gave him this free gear. And I think it all blew up last year when I suddenly gets this video land on me in my email, phone calls and this sort of thing. Nick's just laid this bloke out in, 14 seconds, 40 seconds, I can't remember now. But No, it's just one of those sort of, you get a feel for somebody on the phone, and Nick's standing there laughing, listening to this, and you I don't know, you can build up like a trust in somebody. You get a feel for somebody over the phone sometimes. That's really how we met Nick, and through that. And then I met Nick a couple of weeks ago at Andy's place, and obviously he's here today. And I suppose more luck than judgment that, you know, sponsoring Nick's turned out to be a good thing for us, and hopefully a good thing for Nick as well.
Right, Steve, well, once again,
Good luck with your
thank
BJJ
you, buddy.
training, mate, as
Yeah,
well.
I'll put these to the
Okay,
test and give you some feedback, but they feel great. 2nd of July, title fight.
Look forward to
I'll
that.
feed you back with the details.
Please do,
and
mate,
send
yeah.
you over a snippet.
Yeah.
It probably won't be long, probably about 30 seconds or so of the fight. I'll probably knock him out quite quickly.
But that's the whole fight then, isn't
Something
it?
for you to look at. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Nice one. Thanks for everything,
You're
Steve.
welcome, mate.
I'll see you again soon,
Nick.
buddy.
Yeah, take
Cheers,
care,
mate.
All the best, mate.
Coming up next time on Nick HeadHunter Chapman, Warrior to Champion. After 3 months of strength and conditioning, nutrition balancing, MMA training, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, K1 training, wrestling, game planning, strongman training, community work, coaching, blood, sweat, tears and emotion. It's all come down to this. This one night of battle for the UK1MMA Light Heavyweight Championship title. For Nick Chapman, it's time to fight.
I'll be that one you heard about, the one who get it in and get it on. I'm like an animal when in my house, I'm pulling out, I'm feeling hot, so watch your mouth, my friend. You do not comprehend what it is you're talking about. I need a drink, if we could beat one time to say I turned it out. If I did, then I did, what you worry about? I see you standing there looking tough, what's that about? We both know you gon' turn around and walk it off, so cut it out.